Greetings, beloved hearts. I'm grateful for my guides and your guides for bringing us into alignment at this point in time. Dear ones, we're here to talk to you about the intensity and the incredible challenges of a massive paradigm shift. So let's slow it down, let's break it down, let's unpack this with as much grace and dignity as we can. You see, dear ones, by definition, a paradigm shift is a fundamental change in approach or underlying assumptions. So we experience a shift in the beliefs. This could be just a new way of seeing the world and how we relate to it. It is incredibly challenging. Because of these paradigm shifts, we experience a paradox. And what is a paradox? A paradox is a seemingly absurd, self-contradictory statement or proposition that, when investigated or explained, may prove to be well-founded or true. Dear ones, it is though everything and how you see yourself and how you see the world around you or others is like being this black horse. And this black horse starts to transform. It transforms in its perceptions, in its mind, its feeling, its sensing, its knowing, its everything. And as this black horse transmutes and changes into something different, it is a very uncomfortable phase. It is like as though we are pulling the blackness away and revealing white. And we go through this transformation phase where we look like a zebra or we could equate it to being a zebra. And that's when it really becomes challenging. Because now at this point in a paradox shift, huge shift in your perceptions of what anything could be, how you are or how others are, or what all of this is. It's incredibly intense because at this point the egoic mind is still clinging to things, and as that blackness from that black horse is those stripped away and these new perceptions come in, these new belief structures come in, this new awareness comes in, and we look like a zebra. Now at that point, as a zebra, we're kind of facing the battle between the higher self and the egoic mind. The ego wants validation. The ego wants to have friends and community. The ego needs all of these things. Otherwise it won't feel fulfilled. And it's incredibly challenging. It makes us question ourselves when others may not agree with our opinions or our perspectives. It makes us feel less than. It makes us feel small. It makes us not want to talk. It makes us want to shut down. It makes us angry. We experience so many different emotions during this zebra phase because we go back and forth. Others may see us and look at us and say to us, "Look, dear one, I'm here for you." And you may become very irritable and say, "I don't need anyone." Because you're exhausted, because you don't want to talk about it, because you just don't give a damn. You're so frustrated. You, to the best of your ability, may try to be very heart-centered during this period, but because of this huge paradigm shift, it is happening on a mental, emotional, physical, and energetic level, especially when it comes to major shifts. There's an attunement phase that goes through. There is a body alchemy that happens. There is more soul light retrieval at this point. It is a higher frequency of vibration, and it has an effect on the physical body, the mental and emotional, as this is also a purging phase during an ascension into a higher awareness or consciousness. It will look very ego-based when you share your truths. When you say, "I know this feels like this," or "This is how I feel." And at this point, in this zebra phase, if you will question everything. You may want to back it off, slow it down, and succumb back to others' beliefs. That's the challenge. All the while you feel energetically, emotionally, maybe physically sick, because the higher self is pulling you through into this higher attunement. That is when you become the wounded Leo. It may appear to others that you're just feeling bad for yourself, so you want to go back into the cave. This is not the truth. This is absolute Scorpion energy, death and rebirth energy that is occurring in this moment in time. You become so frustrated. You don't give a damn about anyone's opinions. You would rather have them silenced. You become angry. You become frustrated. You may become very sad, very emotional, because you feel so alone in this world. Even when you have others saying, I love you, I support you, I'm here for you. Because this adjustment phase is adjustment that happens within you. It has nothing to do with others in your life. Yes, their compassion is beautiful, great, awesome. But it's not helping, because that change happens within you, within the individual. That's where because it's all about self-love. And that is how it must occur, or feels as though it should. That's where the major development comes from. Because relying on others to coddle you, relying on others to love you, is in many ways deal making and deflecting, or just taking the wrong path. How do we say that? The true change happens within you. So even though others may want to be there for you, and you may blow up a ton of relationships, you may not give a damn about what it looks like to anyone, because you know, your soul knows that it's all about you loving yourself and stepping into your power. So the love and the compassion from others, yes, everything serves a purpose, but may not really serve your purpose during this transformational zebra phase of this development, during this paradigm shift. It is incredibly based in self-love. And knowing your truth, being authentic, being able to say it, and not giving a damn about what it looks like to anyone else. And you don't need others to pity you. And some would say, we're not pitying you, I'm just loving you. And it's because of this ego and higher self, this grind that's occurring. The old paradigm is trying to hold you in it. So it can look very uncomfortable. It may not be pretty to you and your friends, or your loved ones, or your coworkers, or your children. It is an incredibly intense period of development during ascension. And ascension is simply the raising of awareness. And these belief systems that you're now currently moving into may very well change further on your journey. But you're feeling them deeply right now. And it makes you uncomfortable not to see that or experience it in this way at this time. But as you let go of all of that, not concern yourself, know that everything is happening for you and not to you. Not saying to myself, I need anybody in my life. This sounds callous. This is the challenge. It sounds like it's coming from the ego, but in fact, it's not. It's coming from the higher self, because this is a deep level of self-development, self-awareness, authenticity, love for oneself and their beliefs, and we don't need anyone during that period. Unless we determine or we feel called to reach out to somebody. It may be somebody that you least expect or haven't communicated with in a while, or you do or you don't, or an old friend, or somebody that's always been there. But your soul will know who to communicate with, should you choose to communicate with anyone to talk about it. As you step into your power, as you more start to integrate this, as you release a lot of the old dense energy, the suffering, and that density that is attached, excuse us, good talk, the density As this stuff purges and coughs up, and all the anger, frustration, resentment, sadness purges from you during this paradigm shift, it's alchemy. You may need to rest more. You may need to just tap out and say no more. And saying no does not mean you do not love or care. It means that you're above all putting your needs first, because this is intense. A paradigm shift on a conscious level, on an energetic level, on a physical level, on an emotional level is a very intense phase of development. Some would say this is a dark night of the soul. We would never say it is one way to you. You may feel as though it is a dark night of the soul. Others may dispute whether or not a paradigm shift or a dark night of the soul is very different, or how similar they are. The biggest thing is that usually during a dark night of the soul, for your brother Jeremy, it's about forgiving ourselves for the lies we told ourselves. But a paradigm shift is very different, because a paradigm shift is the belief changes happen and start shifting in our perceptions. I do feel as though we can go through both of these energies, or these transmutations and purging and higher levels of awareness at the same time. But that is for you to decide what you feel like you're going through. Your higher self and your soul knows what it is you're going through. As you step into your power, as you start to just, and you will, maybe, possibly, if you're like me, experience a lot of forgiveness. You will say things like, this is so uncomfortable, forgive me for this. If forgiveness is an aspect of your energy that you need to rely on, forgive me for my actions or behaviors towards others. I ask for forgiveness and to be forgiven. If that is part of your healing process, then use that. But at the same time, look, it's a natural occurrence. Nature doesn't apologize for when storms come in and blow hell on earth over the earth plane and rip dead limbs off of trees in order to create more sunlight and nourish the other branches. It doesn't apologize for what it looks like to others. Again, this goes back and forth between the egoic mind and the higher self. And the higher self has really had it of living with limited perspectives or limited views, or just not feeling authentic, not living the heart path. As we continue to love ourselves fully, because it is all about self-love at this part, during this phase of the development, during the paradox shift. This paradoxical energy is intense. Again, we go from a black horse, where we have those other views pulled off, and we become a zebra, and we're in a transmutation, that scorpion energy phase of death and rebirth. But as you continue to love yourself fully to the best of your ability, you will have some grace in your heart. You will be able to say, okay, but also know this, that there is a lot of moons that you will experience in this world. You will see many moons. So you don't have to fix, control, and manage everything right now. You don't have to explain yourself. It's exhausting. Being mindful of energy traps is important, because if you try to explain yourself to everybody, your energy is just going through a huge transformation, and it's exhausting. And you try to explain yourself to others, especially others that were really, truly coming from their heart and want to say, I love you deeply. I'm here for you. Let's talk about it. And you're just exhausted. Be mindful. You get to call the shots. You have to do what's best for you. You are the one that is going through it. It's exhausting to try to allow others to understand you at this point. You're going through a body, mental body, emotional body, energetic body, physical body, transmutation of energy, transference of energy, and all this stuff is happening. And it's exhausting to try to explain that to anyone. You can certainly evaluate your life and say, who really needs to hear what I'm going through right now, so it can comfort them. My children, possibly my family, possibly my boss, possibly, my coworkers, my colleagues. But not all colleagues, maybe some colleagues. Maybe those that can understand you the most. But let go of the oars. Don't reduce the size of God during this phase of development. Everybody else is on their own soul's journey. While others in your life may try to figure out what you're going through, maybe possibly what's best for them is to figure out what they're going through. Because we're all getting pulled back inwardly to ourselves during our development, during this ascension process, during this raising of the consciousness and awareness. We're all getting pulled to go back in. So if you're triggering somebody else, say thank you. Good. Why is that a bad thing? They may need that. Then they can look at themselves. While so many others are trying to fix and control, manage everyone else, and are you okay, or this or that, or you're being a real jerk, or all that. Look, that's their perception. We see the world the way we are, not the way the world is. So allow others to be others. Little by little, with a little more self-care, a little more caring for yourself. This is a very powerful thing. The universe will align you with others who really are a vibrational match for you, who will see your beliefs and the shifting of the paradigm in ways that you do. And if you do not, don't be discouraged. Especially if you're going through a major conscious upgrade, because chances are then you're already deeply connected to super consciousness, supreme consciousness, the higher realms, this higher awareness, higher densities of consciousness. And you have a beautiful spiritual team that will support you. Nature speaks to you more than anything and loves you. You don't necessarily need that from other people. You have an awareness. You know how to heal. You know how to get through it. It's just uncomfortable. But to yet again become aware of what you're experiencing right now may be very helpful for you. Little by little, you will love yourself. You will come up. You will integrate your new beliefs, your new perspectives, which you are always willing to let go of, but you're sitting in and attuning to at this point in time. And as you do, you will feel better. As you do, you will not give a damn what it looks like to anyone else, because you will not need anyone to understand you, because you have now come to the point of understanding you and your new perspectives, your new views, the new ability to feel, sense, and know, and perceive, and understand. And you will become more comfortable with that, and you will step back into your power. And as you do, your soul light will shine brighter. You will become even more authentic. You will always say, let others think, for they need to practice. You will love everything unconditionally, but you won't give a damn what it looks like to anyone else. At that point, you've come up. It's like you've come through the winter energy. You've come through the fall, into the winter, into the spring, and then you will arrive in summer. Beautiful. And at that point, dear one, that black horse that we talked about, where it had all this energy stripped and these perspectives shifting, and white was exposed, that zebra then becomes this beautiful, majestic white horse with a higher illumination, a higher feeling, comfortability of being authentic in your perspectives, regardless of what that looks like to anyone else on this earth plane. At this time, when you go through such a huge paradigm shift, you do feel as though nobody understands you. I remember a beautiful video from another sister, and she talked about the Messiah complex. And she said, it's not wrong. You may feel like you understand what's happening behind the veil. Like you understand what's happening in the higher realms. But you're understanding why some people are locked in a vibration. Like you understand this and you feel like you have this Messiah complex. It looks very egoic, but it's not. And as you humble yourself and you settle back down and you love all things seen and unseen, after you go through this this black horse through the zebra phase and into the white horse phase, you will come through that with so much love and compassion. You will not no longer be in conflict with anything, and you will be back in balance. It is not wrong to believe in yourself. It is not wrong to know your worth. It is not wrong to be able to speak your truth and regardless of what that looks like to others. It is not wrong to feel uncomfortable when you do and others don't agree or judge you or cannot resonate with you or cannot relate to you. It's not wrong to feel emotions during that phase as everything adjusts into this new higher attunement of awareness. So you're going through a phase. If this resonates with you, I love you. I love everybody, even if it doesn't resonate with them. Currently, I am going through this. I know of this. Why? Because I am my own case study. I've experienced this many times. As a man in recovery, when I first came around recovery community and I first started to have a higher awareness or awakening or whatever that looked like, I didn't agree with everybody the way the others were recovering. I had many different perspectives. Others were like, no, we have to do it this way. Millions of people have done it this way. You need to do it that way. And I would get so uncomfortable. I was going through paradigm shifts at that time. It's not to say that my sisters and my brothers in recovery communities or different recovery pathways or any of that are less than or better than. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it didn't resonate with me. Wasn't for me. My awareness was very different than that. It didn't feel comfortable for me to even approach it that way or try or do something that didn't feel right to me because I felt my higher self and my soul saying, brother, you don't have to go to college to get a degree. You don't have to go through a ceremony to know that you have this knowledge. That something inside of you says you see a clear path and a true way to heal or to make sense of this. This, at times, we go through paradigm shifts, and these are perspective changes that are so deep that we don't read in books. We haven't seen in the medical community. We haven't seen on the airplane before. It's very possible that nobody has spoke about what you're going through. And it can make you very small. It can make you feel so small. But that's not the truth. We need to be aware and stay conscious of the fact of what is the ego and what is the higher self. And then we give thanks for the ego. Give thanks for when our inner child or the fear comes out, because that is what is happening. The change of the unknown is what is scary. The change of the unknown, that's the paradox between the higher self and the ego. The higher self isn't afraid. So stay connected, stay grounded. Continue to be kind and gentle to yourself. Know that alignments will fall away. I went through this with recovery community. I felt so like I needed my recovery community so much. And you know what? My recovery community became me and my spirit guides, or my family, my mother or something, or who I could confide in. Very small, maybe my brother, my physical brother. I remember him being there for me during this phase. So many others too. They're just a very select group of people that really love me unconditionally. And many friends will say they will, but you may not want to resonate. You may not want to be around them because sometimes we don't want pity. Because again, we say sometimes it just brings it back home into we have to do this ourselves through our own self-love. And who we choose to let in or to bring into our orbit is up to us. That's okay. Know this, that the universe will always bring you new alignments. So be willing to allow other friends, people, family, any damn thing to fall away. Collectives, anything. When you go through a paradigm shift, such as this. Because the universe has proven to me time and time again, I've gone through many of these dear ones, that new beautiful souls will align. Soul tribes, soul pods, just beautiful stuff that will light you up. And you will say, yeah, I'm there. I'm where you are. And it is not wrong to say that, to know your worth. To say, yeah, I too see the world this way. I too see the cosmos this way. I too resonate with this. I do feel that. And the universe will align with you with others that do. And how beautiful is that? There may be very few. The more paradigm shifts you go through, the higher the tree you climb, like a pine tree. It's almost as if, and it sucks to say, let's say it for that, but it's a truth. It feels very much like a pine tree, and that pine tree, there's just not a lot of space for a lot of to sit on the limbs higher up, the higher up you go. And again, that would sound like ego, but that's a damn truth. It's been my experience that when I go through massive paradigm shifts in consciousness, or feeling, sensing, and knowing, that there are less and less that could resonate with me. This would be the unconscious mind. These limbs on this pine tree are very wide. That surface level 3D view, the duality perspectives, all that. There's more room there for those, because that is the majority of the collective may feel that way, because that's the way the system is designed. They're not less than or better than anyone, but the whole damn system, this human experience, is set up to go to work, go acquire, get more, always looking for something beyond ourselves. That is the truth of the fact of the collective, of most beings being human. Everybody running around, trying to get more, trying to provide, because that's the way the system is designed. That's easy to operate from that level. As hard as that sounds for somebody here to say that, it's easy to operate at that level. Just go get a job. You can go to the job. You can go to the bar. There's bars. There's sporting events. There's this. There's all this stuff you can do here on the earth plane. You can go have a relationship. You can go look good. You can get your nails done. You can do all this stuff, all these things to make you feel better. It's pretty easy to operate at that level. Letting go of all that stuff and having a huge paradigm shift in your belief system and structure, and seeing what is really truly of value to you, or as your values change, and all of that kind of crumbles and falls away, and that paradox happens again, fighting between the higher self of saying, oh, I feel more blissed out, needing nothing beyond myself, and then yet having all your friends and all your loved ones and everyone say, come on, let's go hang out again. And you're like, no, it doesn't resonate with me anymore. That is a challenge. There are less seats at the table the higher you go in that regard. Because in many ways, dear ones, it's easier to operate at this 3D in duality. It's easier. It's funny. We're not as heart-centered. We can make jokes about others and not give a damn. We don't have as much reverence there. It's challenging to have reverence. It takes a great deal of commitment and honor and sacredness in order to have reverence. Last night, I had all in my area, the Northern Lights were going on, and all my friends, I had so many friends say, go out and look at the Northern Lights. I went outside and I looked at the deck. I went out on the deck and I said, I don't even see any damn Northern Lights. And I said, why do I even give a damn about the Northern Lights right now? I was so frustrated. I was so angry. I'm going through this paradigm shift right now. Because why? Because I'm like, yes, as beautiful it is, and I love that it's making others happy, but it doesn't define me. I'm sick of being defined by any damn thing. Jesus, Lord have mercy. I am the Northern Lights and they are me. But I'm happy for my sisters and brothers. But I don't give a damn right now, because what I'm going through is what I'm going through during this paradigm shift. Can you not see, my sisters and brothers, that we are? Can you not meditate? Can you not feel your connection to the Northern Lights? And I was just so angry. I was just so angry. This purge. Sitting here, and my mind would even have judgment and say, this is nonsense. These people are nonsense. And yet there's a deep awareness that I know not to think that way. Even though I can feel the ego creeping in saying, man, these people. That's the challenge. Paradigm shifts are about becoming more authentic. It's about more self-love. It's about being able for everything to change drastically, incredibly, powerfully. People, places, and things. During a paradigm shift, it is literally like going from a black horse to a zebra, turning into a white horse. And that is not to say that a white horse is better than the black horse. You could reverse that. Doesn't matter. The void. I love that. Not knowing. And maybe that's the way we should end this video. Going from a white horse to pulling off the white stripes and then seeing the black stripes. And then entering the void. Where you become more of a being, more of an observer. You end up as that black horse. I love how this has played out as we spoke to you today. To where you can let go of all the beliefs. Where you've come through this transmutation of energy and you're observer again. You have no opinion. That's peaceful. I love the vision of going from white to zebra to black. That's beautiful. So, if you're going through these big changes right now, I love you. Be kind to your body. Your body may be going through alchemy. Your physical vessel, mental, emotional, everything may be changing right now. So be kind and gentle. Okay? I love you. Drink a lot of water, self-nurturing. Give yourself a hug. It's important to give yourself a hug. Tell yourself you're your own best friend, your own best lover, and that you've got you. Because that's really where the magic happens. It's all about self-love and finding our voice and being authentic. So I love you and yours. Love everybody, Kennedy, especially yourselves. Namaste.